How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to our weekly eShop sales roundup, where we help you to find the best eShop deals, the bargains worth considering each week. I'm your guide, James Romero, and this video is sponsored by Hypercharge Unboxed. If you haven't had the chance to play this sandbox shooter with tower defense elements, then take a look. It's a great blast with superb shooter controls in a quirky, Toy Story style world full of your childhood's favourite toys. There's a bunch of modes to enjoy online, as well as local solo or multiplayer on offer as well. There's a link below in the description to find out more. Alright, let's jump in and take a look at this week's best deals. Kicking things off this week, and I'm going for a masterpiece. Yes, Hyperlight Drifter is set in a glorious neon pixelated world. What I love is how the game manages to portray a deep story without any language, text or voiced. What you do know is that your homeworld is invaded and you play as the Drifter, a caped sword wielder who clearly isn't well as you spew blood from time to time. The world setting is fantastic. There are giant dying titans and a shadowy monster lurking. My personal take is that this is a world in the distant future where technology is almost forgotten and old, but the beauty is you will see what your mind interprets. Now, combat is punishing and Twitch sensitive. The game blends RPG and action gameplay extremely well, and the special edition on the Switch is the definitive version, full of small upgrades. It feels perfectly at home on the Nintendo Switch, and the game feels a bit like a SNES Zelda, but that's not to say it's not original. It definitely has its own personality, which oozes through the difficult and unforgiving gameplay. You won't be taking on 20 enemies at a time here. It's all about mastering the dash and slash controls in order to progress through the game's open world. That's if you can take on the enemies in your path. Jordan, Juan, what are your picks this week?
Hey everyone, how you doing? Jordan here with my pick of the week. This week I'm plumbing for a remake of a Sega classic, Panzer Dragoon. I think a lot of people were highly anticipating this one, but when it originally released, the high price point plus a few gameplay issues made many think that, it missed the landing. But now it's been out a while and the patches have rolled out, and it's definitely worth a look if you're curious now that it's got a lovely 50% off everywhere. £11.24, $12.49, and the same in euros. That is far more reasonable, and I will definitely take a look at it for that price. I decided not to pick up limited runs release. I'll settle for this digital bargain.
Hey then everybody, thank you very much, James. My pick this week is Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I have picked this one before, but I'm picking it again purely because of the heavy discount this week with a massive 68% off from this brilliant game. You can have a lot of fun either by yourself or 3 other friends, either locally or online. So make sure you try and play with a friend because it is much more fun that way. And I've had loads of hours put into this one with my daughter, and she picked it up pretty quickly. There's 14 different weapon types. You can even play as a feline in Prowler mode if you really want to. So as I said, at this price and with the new ones coming out next year, I would say this is an absolute bargain. Take care, everybody. See you next week.
Brilliant picks there, guys. Now, next up, Towaga? I'm not really sure how you say it, but this is a simple and fun arcade-like game set in a really beautiful world. In the game, you play as Chimu, a light bearer and the last hope of your tribe against the evil lord set on plunging the world into darkness. At your disposal is the light, literally, using the right stick to shine a powerful beam in the direction of your aim. There are 2 gameplay sections, ground and aerial. On the ground you do not move, so it's about timing which enemies to kill and using your spells at the right time. In the air, you lose the spells but gain movement, so it's a nice balance. There are 4 different modes on offer, as well as multiplayer, making this a decent package. It really does look superb visually, and though it will eventually get repetitive, the modes definitely help. Nowhere Profit hits 2 game styles that I really love: deck building card games and strategic choice-based adventures. This is a post-apocalyptic world in which you travel the map 1 turn-based node at a time, stumbling upon battles and sites of interest as you build your deck and aim to survive this harsh land. What's nice is beyond completing a single run, there are multiple difficulties, unlocks and challenges to keep you coming back for more. A nice choice for solo fun with a healthy 50% off right now. Great example of a simpler and addictive platformer. The premise of Binaries is simple enough. You need to guide 2 balls into their goals. The catch is that they both move at once. What starts out as a simple affair quickly evolves into something extremely tricky, and with over 100 levels, you won't be finishing them all anytime soon. The overall package is not pretty and nothing new gets added later on, but at this price, what a bargain. Northgard is a Norse-inspired RTS that fills an underrepresented genre on the Switch. A lot of real-time strategy games don't port well onto consoles because of the fast-paced nature of them, which can be difficult to map to a controller. Thankfully here, the gameplay is a little bit slower, lending itself well to the Switch. The cartoon style is reminiscent of mobile phone games, which some will like and others won't, but the gameplay is solid, combining action strategy and 4X simulation building like Civilization. It's engaging without being too heavy, making it well balanced for genre pros and those simply curious to try something new, and now there's a healthy 60% off. Figment is a fantastical look into the inner workings of the human mind. It challenges depression, joy, and the full spectrum of our inner thoughts in a playful puzzle game. The visual style is wonderful, the colours and quirky ideas of the mindscape are portrayed very well. The puzzles and gameplay for the most part is good, but not great. There is some light combat and some tracking back to figure out how to progress, but overall this is a very enjoyable game, worth picking up. Silence is the follow-up to The Whispered World, and it's a point-and-click adventure that looks gorgeous. The theme is of personal growth and some dark discovery into your own fears. Heady stuff. Apart from the looks, the audio is decent and the puzzles are enjoyable, with a few different elements thrown in for good measure. The biggest issue with this game was its steep price tag. With a huge 90% off now, it's a solid deal. You'll notice that this and the rest of the games from here on out are not on sale across all regions, but fear not, as the Switch is region free, you're able to create accounts in other regions to take advantage of deals. There's a link in the description down below to a handy article on how to do just that. Toki Tori 2 is a side-scrolling 2D puzzle-based platformer with cute graphics in a nice package. This time around, they built on the first, adding more stages and puzzles. Overall, the game has a really healthy 10 hours or so of playtime, and at first it feels very much like a game directly aimed at children with its 2-button mechanics. Not long in though, and the difficulty does start to ramp up. With such a deep discount, this is worth picking up. Lovely graphics, cool puzzles, and some easier and tougher content to satisfy everyone. The Phoenix Wright Trilogy really is an all-time classic, and with 50% off, it's a crazy price for how much quality you're getting here. There are 60 hours of excellent story, memorable characters, humour, and puzzle solving. These 3 games have it all, and I love them. If you've never played one, then you have been missing out, and give these a little look. Reduced from £18 to just £1.79, Hard West is worth buying purely on price. But on top of that, this is actually a very good turn-based tactical game, which we really enjoyed here at SwitchWatch. It was a tad expensive at the time, but if you love Western games with a twist, then check this one out. Here we have Western legends, demons, arcane rituals, and even satanic cults, but the combat and story is enough to get you invested into this game and its lore. £1.79 really is a fantastic bargain for this one. Straight out of the old days, this is a 7-title compilation of beat-em-up arcade classics from Capcom when the genre was at its true peak. In an even more awesome incentive, 2 of these have never been ported to a home console until this came out. If you're fans of the beat-em-up genre, this release is essential. There was a physical release in Japan which you might fancy if you're into importing, but the digital sale makes it 50% off in Europe. That's 7 titles with all sorts of extras, which makes it a bargain, especially compared to some companies that release individual arcade games for around the same price as this. My Brother Rabbit is a point-and-click game with a bunch of minigames thrown in. It's colourful and a very nice adventure that you can play as a family in these testing times, and with 90% off, this is certainly worth a punt. It's colourful, fun and playful, making it a really solid family choice. Fury Unleashed is a cool game sporting vibes and evoking memories from classics like Contra and Metal Slug. It then throws that together with gameplay patterns of more modern runners like Dead Cells, where you die and get some small permanent progression for your next run. It's an all-action affair as you take on the hordes with massive weapons, and although the Switch port does have a few blips, it's still overall a really fun experience and worth the price with a nice 50% off. Speaking of which, NoReload Heroes is a basic and easy to pick up dungeon crawling twin stick shooter. Make no mistakes, this is peeled back and not the deepest game, but at the same time it fills that gap, and all at less than £1. If you've got a couple of mates coming round and you want to try something new that you don't need to spend 2 hours explaining, then this will do nicely. UnderHero is a charming tale. The hero has failed, and as underling of the evil king, you reluctantly take his spot. This is a side-scrolling adventure with RPG elements and a lush pixel art world to explore. The combat is really excellent. Everything is about timing your attacks and that the different bosses stand out. If you haven't seen this one, then give it a little check. This one's gone on sale a couple of times, but Okami is a stunning masterpiece, and this version on the Nintendo Switch is superb, making great use of HD Rumble. This is art in the form of a game without detracting from the superb Zelda-like gameplay. One of the top games out there, and it's worth buying at full price. With such a healthy discount, it really is a no-brainer. So be sure to give this one a look if you haven't played it before. And that's all for this week. There you have it, a bunch of eShop games on sale that are worth looking at. What is your pick this week? Let us know. I can't wait for the Black Friday sale that is going to be happening next weekend. Undoubtedly, there'll be some good stuff in the US. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. We'll see you again next time. Take care.